Welcome to the show, Mrs. Sarashan.
Yeah, thanks, Sunil.
Let's start with understanding what SOXO is all about.
Yeah, so SOXO, is of course a 3-year-old startup in the marketing technology space and specifically in social marketing. So within marketing, there are so many different automation tools and marketing tech tools. Our focus is to bring in more capability on social marketing, where a lot of investment is going towards helping brands and individuals to amplify their content on social media. So we call it as a brand advocacy marketing tool or employee advocacy. It can also be used for partner advocacy or customer advocacy. So that's the short aspect of it. It's an emerging new novelty in the aspect of marketing.
How are your clients, adjusting to the reality that things are moving away from traditional way of marketing and sales, promotions, to something which is where the direct interface with the customers is not as much as it used to be, or the way it used to be when you compare with traditional media way of marketing vis-a-vis the new trends?
Yeah, so social has really changed the way marketing is done. It's no more monologue. There's no more unidimensional sending that, okay, I send an email, or gets it, please respond, or if it's a search for discovery of your brand, or an advertising on TV or print. So now with social, it's more conversational. It's a direct engagement with the audience or the community you build there for your brand. And then you need to be listening to what people are talking about you as a brand. And it cannot be used as a billboard online. So social has evolved differently, and people have been learning to understand how best to leverage that. And of course, the current situation because of COVID has accelerated that, because people are stuck at home and with the digital devices or with social as the only single medium where they can reach out to a specific audience. Most of the customers or leads or prospects are already there, and you don't have to really figure out who they are. You can just go search and you can continue to engage with them. That's the big shift that we see if brands realize, okay, social is no more just for advertising. It's actually to create content for conversations, engage with the communities, engage with their potential audience there, and then drive more authenticity and trust with the brand first, then sell later.
So let's talk about the services that you offer to your clients.
So as I said, we are a software as a service platform. Obviously, it comes with a mobile application, and we allow brands, each company, which creates a lot of content. Every company invests heavily on content. The next big challenge after creating content is, what do I do with this? How do I get it going out, promote it as quickly as possible? Because the shelf life of content on social media is very low. In Twitter, it's a few minutes to an hour, or probably in other channels, maybe maximum a day. We have a plethora of content coming from so many different brands. As a brand, you yourself actually push a lot of content. Now, how do you ensure that the content reaches as quickly as possible to the intended audience? Now, so far, there was a chance that you put a post on your brand page on LinkedIn or Facebook. It used to go to all the followers, but then the algorithms have changed. The channels, social media channels, do not want to bombard their audience with a lot of news, publishing news, or with the brand page content. It's more human-to-human interaction. It's for people to engage with their own conversations and content. So user-generated content is highly favored than brand page content. So then the challenge came for brands. How do I now get it going up? So paid marketing was the next alternative. So people have to invest on paid marketing, but you can't be putting money behind every content that you create on social media or websites. So what's the best alternative? You have strong faces and voice on social media, which are your stakeholders. So who are your stakeholders? Your employees, your partners, your customers, your fans, your communities. Now they are already on social media. They are very, influential with their own brand presence. They all have certain personal brand, right? If you enable your team, internal team, to engage with the content, consume it, and then help the company amplify the content, putting their thoughts on it, their thought leadership opinions on it, and send it to their connections, it is more trusted, it is more authentic. So content coming from you than from your brand is more engaged, right? Brands is considered as advertising. People don't want to deal with advertising on social media. They would like to see a content from another person who they're connected with. It's more trusted. So what we help brands is to help aggregate different content which they have, digital assets which they've built for content, as well as content relevant to their brand from third-party sources which is relevant, aggregate into our platform, allow it to be published to their own internal teams for engagement internally. It also becomes a sort of an internal communication tool for engaging with employees, our partners, and convert them into brand advocates. So brand ambassadors or brand advocates, they are the best word of mouth marketing forces on social media. So when we allow them to engage with content and further share into their network, they can pick and choose what they would like to share or create their own content and share it on social media and drive the conversations and the usual data metrics. You need engagements like comments and likes. Then you need people to click on it, go somewhere. You have an intent on the content to drive the user to a particular page on your site, read the content, or ask for a lead generation there, a call to action there. So the entire function of content reach, amplification, engagement, and conversion is what we help the brands to do.
If you take a look at the social media, and especially if you go and search on LinkedIn, there are at least every time, if you just search right now, SEO, SEM, you'll find, at least 1,000, at least 10,000 of them offering the same service. How do you, keep yourself ahead of, individual players who are working in this, plus probably the companies who are in the same space?
Okay, let me give a small context on how this is evolved, right? So digital is what it's considered as. So digital has three key segments. One is email, which has been there for like 20, 25 years. What started as a personal one-to-one communication, then the companies have built a lot of tools, automation tools. Then it's now email blasting, more email personalization has come. So email is still a communication function. Of course, there is a good chance of conversion, but mostly from first-party conversation, right? If you're already a customer of the brand, then you get a lot more emails around your conversations. So it's more a communication tool. Search is again a discovery tool. There's no communication, there's no conversation, there's no engagement with the brand. It is just an information discovery platform. So you need to still build your presence on your search to see that you're there. Your content has to drive your presence on search, right? So search is more discovery. But social, which is the third pillar of digital, so email, search, and social. Social is a different beast to deal with. As I said, it is more communication platform. It's a two-way engagement platform. People can comment about your posts, your brand. They can take it to the cleaners if you do something wrong. The reputation is a big challenge in social media, which you don't have much in other channels, right? Now, yes, there are so many different ways to do it. If you look at how social evolved, it was all about people engaging with each other's posts. Of course, it's been used very well by politicians too, no doubt about it. Now, the companies are understanding how best to use it. There are tools which came for B2C influencing, basically consumer products, which used celebrity influencers to promote a post. So you can put an Instagram post, you can endorse it to a brand saying that this product is good, please go and buy. The intent was to drive more visibility and awareness about the product. So influencer marketing started with a B2C influencer. But if you spin the other side, B2B companies also wanted to see that how best they can leverage this channel, right? Not just for driving the advertising of the B2B company, but also content. Like it could be ebooks or white papers, or it's about blogs. Sales teams had to reach out to the existing customers to engage with them interesting content, keep them updated with all the developments they're doing in the products or services, as well as HR. They wanted to build a strong employer brand. They wanted the company to be shown as a great place to work. The culture is very strong for people to come and be innovative in the business. And it was also a strong place to hire socially using connections there. So HR was using it for the employer branding, sales using it for social selling to reach out to existing customers or potential leads or audiences. Then you have the marketing division, which wanted to use this for amplifying and creating awareness, frequent conversations, frequent presence of the brand content online to drive the reputation function from a PR perspective. So I think social is a different play. In that advocacy is a completely new phenomenon. Not many people are still there. I'll be happy to see many of them coming in. That's when the market also matures, right? So far it's been advertising, as I said, for brands to reach out on social. We are trying to give a more authentic way for amplifying the content. So advocacy is a slightly new game in the last 2-3 years. We'll see a lot more evolving there. So it's a word of mouth marketing, which is what we're trying to operationalize using the platform.
So for companies or startups who are listening to this show, what would be the cost that they need to have in mind or in their budgets to be able to use your service? Let's start with the base level.
Yeah, so this has been a dilemma for for us when we started looking at our go-to-market strategy and potential target. We thought, okay, the large companies are the only ones which can pay. We can go and tell them, don't throw so much of money on Facebook or LinkedIn advertising. Take some money and invest on advocacy marketing. Engage your people to create a strong personal brand and allow them to do all these functions of social media. But then when we realized as a startup ourselves, we were actually able to leverage our own platform because you can't invest on advertising on as a startup. You can't be doing paid marketing a lot, right? You have limited budget. So best way is organic way of trying to drive your conversations. Advocacy helps in the organic approach of driving conversations. If you're a 10-member or 20-member startup team, I would say that all the leadership have to be on social media, create a strong personal brand for themselves, develop that confidence or trust when people come and look at you on LinkedIn. We were able to build our partnerships in markets in Europe or in US or in India, as well as reach out to potential customers and even people who joined us, colleagues who joined us as employees. They would like to know who they're going to work with. A potential customer would like to know who is this guy who's trying to sell me something. I would like to know if he has capability to sell, or the people who are running the business, or the technical expertise of the company. So all this is very transparent and visible on social media, right? So I would always recommend startups to use advocacy, word of mouth, right? If they get 2 customers, let those customers become a very strong recommendation on social media. Each customer may have thousands of connections on social media, and they can become a very strong brand advocate for the company. So startups have to leverage it more than actually the large companies. So I would love for startups to come and reach out to us.
What about the budget? What should be the typical budget for startups for small companies? Because even when you talk about startup, you rightly said, okay, use the if you have your own staff, use that, leverage that. But startup typically would start with 4, 5 employees at the maximum. That's not a big number to go by. So if there is a cost, if they're thinking of a cost, what should be the budgets?
I simply put it like this. So if any startup, anything less than $20,000, they can't do any marketing today.
That's a month?
In a year, I would say, right? You just started up, you may have a $500,000 budget or a $250,000 budget. You may probably keep about 10% to 15% allocated for marketing. I would say out of that marketing budget, keep, a couple of $1,000s is what you need to start on Soxo. That's all you need. As a minimum base, we set up as a price point. We have a very interesting pricing model as well. It's not for number of users, it's number of content that gets shared and that gets tracked and attributed. So it's a real ROI-driven performance pricing. So I would say it's probably 10% of the marketing budget or 5% of the marketing budget. Instead of putting on LinkedIn or Facebook ads, put that 5-10% on Soxo as a continuous marketing channel. That's what we tell them.
So if I got it right, what you're saying is when you charge, there's another model you have, which is based on the number of shares and the engagement. You would charge the companies.
There's a number of shares of content they do on different social media channels. It includes everything, not just the LinkedIn or Facebook social channels. You can also share it on WhatsApp or Slack or Team or Skype, any of those channels where you can allow the amplification of content to your network. All that is considered as social channels and communication channels. So share the content. We only charge you for sharing content, not for having people on your platform.
What does it mean for your company to be part of NASDAQ 2020?
Well, as rightly said, while our target segment is the large ones, we definitely get bigger checks from the large ones. But I still feel that being a startup, it is important that we tell others what benefit we have been able to get using advocacy as a channel for marketing. And a few of us, obviously, as you rightly said, it's about 30-40% of the people in a startup or in a large company as well will be very active on social media. So we educate them. So I want the startups to understand the best way to reach out to your potential customers or existing customers or partners or future employees or even investors, right? You need to be very creating a strong personal brand for yourself on social media. And that does not come by just looking into somebody else's posts or connections. You have to be active. You have to throw in your ideas about your startup, your thought leadership about your product and your business. Be active. If you build a personal brand, then your team can start leveraging it for their purposes in terms of social selling, modern selling, digital selling, whatever they call, or employer branding. Create a culture because you got to attract talent into your startup. So if you don't create a strong presence, you won't get people coming into you. You won't find customers reaching out to you if you don't have a strong presence. So that's what we tell startup promoters, please do it from your angle. Even if you're just 5-10 member team, create a strong personal brand and build your business there.
Finally, My Startup TV is a channel for startups and businesses. As an advertising person, as a marketing person, when you hear that, what's your first thoughts?
Well, I'm, really curious because I never heard about somebody doing a TV for startups. As you rightly said, it is not an easy proposition for someone to create a video content and get it to a community of other startups, because it's usually conferences or events where you can catch up with others. In this case, if this particular message resonates through your channel, that's definitely an interesting thing for me. That's why I asked you very first time. So how do you get your content promoted to other startups or other companies? So I believe what you're doing is an interesting facet for startups.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to inviting you on to our other shows shortly. Thank you.
Thanks, Sunil. Thank you so much for coming.